Well, thank you for joining us for this pre-match interview with Jonathan Trott, the coach of Afghanistan. This is a hybrid press conference, so we do have some attendees on Zoom. Just a reminder to them to please keep your video off and remain on mute. If you have a question, please use the hand button on Zoom. And if you have a question in here, please raise your hand. We'll get started.
Cool.
Hi, Jonathan. Afghanistan had a pretty good Asia Cup. Well, nearly there. What about those close finishes? Have you worked out something on that?
Hope so. And I would definitely agree with you. We had, I think, pretty good. I think there was lots of opportunities to win those games. Certainly, the group games against Sri Lanka and certainly the one against Pakistan. But I think those are all learning curves, and I think a real good learning experience, certainly close to a World Cup, and how fine those margins are in T20 and being able to close out games or being able to score a few more runs in first innings is like we did against, well, we should have against Sri Lanka in the group game, where we didn't get many in the last 3 or 4 overs, where we didn't get enough. So there's sorts of things like that. So putting together a good 40 overs is what we're here to do in every game. Obviously, you know, that's unlikely that everyone gets 40 overs correct. But the closer we get to getting that right, the better chance, obviously, we'll have of winning. And you can only strive for that, can't you?
Do you think Afghanistan have the batters? I mean, Ibrahim Zadran has shown he can bat long. The batters to really carry on and put up a good score, or maybe fight it out in the next innings.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, we're looking to our openers to set a good platform along with Ibrahim at 3. And we got some exciting players. We've got some very young, exciting players, very guys who perhaps aren't you know, household names like Nabi or Rashid or Mujib even. But we've got some players who are exciting and hopefully going to impress a lot of people and win us plenty of games.
Jonathan, what are you expecting from the pitch here? And I mean, obviously the reputation of it being pretty fast and quick. And do you think your batters can handle that?
Yeah, certainly. You know, we've prepared for that. And, you know, certainly when you look at the fixture list and, you know, the games at the Gabba and the games at the here in Perth, you certainly earmark those for wickets that are going to go through a little bit. It was good experience for us as well, playing against Pakistan in a warm-up game on a very good pitch, certainly for this time of year and the weather that was around. So I think the prep's been really good. And again, we get to use facilities here and have a look. So the guys are ready for tomorrow. So the wicket looks really good. This is our first time in the nets. I hear they're very true and very accurate to what's in the middle. So it's good experience for the guys and are ready for tomorrow.
And how about your spinners? Do you think they could cause some damage with a bit more bounce? Or
certainly, you know, very, very much skilled and playing all around the world. Certainly here in the Big Bash and various franchises. So inside knowledge and experience of playing with or against the opposition in all of our matches is going to be crucial from those guys. And passing that on and creating a squad of players who's played all around the world and in various conditions, which is brilliant.
And how about Rashid? I mean, with Afghanistan, he bowls a bit later in the innings often. Do you think he might come in a bit earlier, or might be a bit of a change of strategy like he is with the BBL? Or
you'll have to wait till tomorrow.
No secrets.
Yeah.
Jonathan, England changed the way when, you know, the way the rest of the world played the 50-over format. You've got some insight with the English team. I mean, although you played a while ago, what sort of changes can you bring into Afghanistan, or what kind of insights can you give Afghanistan into a crucial tournament like T20 World Cup?
I wouldn't say there's loads of insights. I think a case as your job as a coach is to come in and see on areas that perhaps guys can improve on that will improve the consistency in performances. But that's all you're ever striving for is guys to be, certainly with the talent that we have in our squad, is to consistently put out performances individually, but also as a squad, as a side, sorry, and to have a squad that is competitive in all conditions around the world. That's what the best teams in the world do. And it's good to strive and have those ambitions.
What about the mindset? You think is that an area where you got to work with a team like Afghanistan?
I think all players in this day and age, with the pressures of the game, in actual match or outside influences, you know, that's so prevalent these days. and just educating the guys on what makes, and getting them to understand themselves and how they get the best out of themselves, I think is the job of a coach, and something we're striving to do with these players. And the ability to accelerate that learning, especially for the younger players and the talented players that we have, I think will only be beneficial to them, again, as a side, going forward. And playing competitions like this and the Asia Cup is only beneficial for the players.
Just on that Asia Cup, I mean, do you think you can work on that mentality in terms of winning mentality? Can you work, is that period from the Asia Cup to this World Cup, is that enough time for you to work on with the team, or you think it needs more time?
I think in T20, because of the games being so close, it's a little bit here, a little bit there. What I was proud of is getting back into games like against Pakistan with good bits of fielding. So one of the things we've been working on is our fielding. Make sure that when we get an opportunity, we're able to put the opposition under pressure. So they're little things, and all the little percentages hopefully adding up to us putting together, a good run in the competition and winning some games.
Just finally, I mean, before this Asian Cup, probably Afghanistan was always considered as a dangerous team. You think that phase is over now? Everybody takes them on very seriously?
Well, I hope not. I hope we're still seen as a dangerous side, but a side that's more consistent in taking, competitions, and getting to the next phases. Not just here to participate, but here to win matches. And that's an exciting place to be when you have that mentality, but also know that in that change room, we've got players and a squad that can do that. It's all about getting out there on the day, and it's the belief of the players themselves, and being able to improve their game in all round. It's not just batting and bowling, but fielding, the way that they think, the ability as teammates to work together. It's some remarkable stories in that dressing room, and hopefully this campaign is going to be another one of them.
Hello, Jonathan. Any updates on Gurbaz and any other injuries in the team?
Yeah, everyone's just fine. Should be fine, yeah.
And just on the batting combination, what sort of combination are you looking for tomorrow? Is there a place for someone like Usman Ghani, who has been playing really well in the past few matches?
So what was the question, sorry?
Is there any place in the batting lineup for Usman Ghani, someone like him who has been playing well whenever given chance?
There's a place for everybody on the side. That's whether they are able to take the opportunity and when given it, and putting good performances. So we'll name that side tomorrow at the toss.
And how happy are you that Nabi is now back in form in batting?
Yeah, whenever Mohammad Nabi's in form, it's good for any team, never mind Afghanistan. But if he was in any side in the world, it'd certainly make them stronger. So for him, certainly as captain, leading the side the way he does, very excited to see him with bat and ball in his hand and putting in some more good performances.
And yep.
Hi, thank you so much. This is Jafar. I'm an Afghan journalist. I have two questions. You have been with the team for almost like 4, 5, 6 months now. Can you give me two things that made you happy about them, and two things that you like made you sad and you think Afghanistan players need to work very hard to fix it?
So I've been with them since the 6th of August. I don't know how many months that is. Certainly not 6. But things I'm happy, the passion, the desire to get better, their interest in their game, and their work ethic at the ground is really good. And the way they are so passionate about winning for Afghanistan is something that's always something that you, as looking from the outside in, certainly having played for a different country, you're always excited when you see that as a coach and the passion. So those are certainly the pros, and as the things that need to work on, I'd just say the consistency in performance, I would say, and understanding when that clicks and how important that is. how much potential and talent in the side. You combine that consistency with that talent, and you've got a very, very good side, and a side that's going to be competitive in all formats of the game, hopefully one day, but certainly here, hopefully.
Yeah, and with all these ups and downs back home, and participation in such event is like how important, like for you as a coach and for the one players, like.
Well, I think every nation is proud of whoever represents them, as in this side here. I know they certainly take that, very seriously and very passionately about who they represent and what it means for them to play for Afghanistan. So, that's only a good thing, I think. It's controlling those emotions and that passion, certainly when you play rival matches. Tomorrow is going to be exciting. I'm really looking forward to it.
And last question. I know you are communicating with them in English. So have you learned any Pashto words from them? If you, yes, can you tell us what is it? Because this question is for our audience back home.
I've learned a few, but I wouldn't trust myself to get the pronunciation right, but I'm certainly trying and understanding and listening to the guys. And taking an interest in all the guys though as well, their stories and where they come from and their upbringings and their ambitions. So it's always good to sit down and have a chat with a few of them now and again and see their cricketing ambition, but also their story and how they've got to where they are today.
We just have one question on Zoom. Bashir, if you'd like to unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hi, Jonathan. It's Bashir from ACA. Just a quick one. Afghanistan haven't played much cricket in Australia. Do you think there'll be a setback in this tournament? And second question, we didn't get to see Salim Safeh in the warm-up games. Is he fit and well?
So can you repeat the first question there?
The first question was, Afghanistan haven't played much cricket in Australia. Do you think there'll be a setback in this tournament, not having much experience in that conditions?
Well, we've been here for a few weeks and try to get as accustomed to the conditions and the different variations in the pitches you'd probably get here as opposed to the subcontinent. The weather perhaps hasn't allowed us to play on wickets that are as quick and as bouncy as we would have liked in the sort of build-up period. But we had an opportunity at the Gabba the other night on playing a very good and a quick pitch. So I think a lot was learned from that. And again, hopefully we can take that experience and apply it into tomorrow's match. With regards to Salim, I think you asked, is that right?
Yep.
Yeah. I've been very impressed with him. Obviously my first tour with him, but very much like what I see with regards to the attributes that he has as a tall, fast, quick bowler, hits the deck really well, and is, pushing for places. So that's only good. Having competition for places, I think, is something that you need as a squad, certainly coming to competitions and the amount of cricket that the side plays. So that's only healthy, and he's certainly pushing the other seamers as well.
Yeah, just the last one. A couple of the Afghan players in the current squad, they've played BBL for quite a few years. How important will be their presence in this tournament and in the team?
I think critical. I think certainly, when you look at the players or you hear the players talking amongst themselves and, very much like sponging information off Nabi or Rashid or Mujib. And sometimes it's from my experience, the going to the unknown is actually one of those things where you just go and you let your natural cricketing instincts take over and you go and play. I think sometimes as cricketers, the more you play, sometimes you start looking for things that perhaps aren't there. So the inexperience, I think, can actually be a bit of a blessing for the players and just go out there and express themselves and play fearless cricket, really.
And we'll just go, we've got one more question on Zoom. Samula, if you'd like to unmute yourself and ask your question.
Okay, thank you. This is Samiullah Pam from Afghanistan. My question from dear coach, how do you compare Afghanistan and England team for tomorrow? No, as Afghanistan coach, as a professional cricketer. Thank you.
How do I compare them? I'd say there's a lot of talent in both sides. A lot more, you would say, international experience in playing in competitions in the England side. In all formats of the game, and are continuously playing against in all formats and continuously playing against the top team. So that's what I would say. The one thing I do know is that the England side is is certainly not taking us lightly. We're not taking them lightly. So there's a lot of similarities in that way. And they know they're going to get a good match tomorrow, and they, will want to be wanting to start off their campaign just like we are. So there's lots of similarities, I'd say, in the side. And I think we have some talented players who are ready to show the world what they're capable of. So that's what I'm excited about. Everybody in the world knows about the England team and the individuals there. And that's where I'd say the difference is. We have players who are ready to burst onto the scene.
And we'll just go one final question in the room here.
Do you sense excitement within the team to play in Australia? Obviously, there was meant to be a test here 2 years ago, was cancelled, and last year is one Hobart. Do you sense a real sort of excitement amongst the group?
For sure, definitely. You've certainly sensed a build-up as well of excitement when we first got here, and new experience for the players. But now certainly it's coming to the business end. And you're just listening to the conversations. You're looking at the body language. It's very, very, very exciting for me as a coach. But again, it's about controlling those emotions, that excitement, and channeling in the right places in the right direction.
And do you hope Afghanistan can play Australia in bilaterals in the future? Obviously, there's a little bit uncertainty in regards to that.
Absolutely. That I can only see that being a very good series, and something that I think the world cricketing stage will be very excited about.
Thank you for your time, Jonathan.
Good. Thanks.